so many fights going to happen right now. This is game 3, guys. My name is Severia alongside with God Moxie, and we're going to see a ballista kill, possibly from OUG's SS, but nope, he misses it, and he's going to be engaged. This is a joust, but Ben's looking in the other direction. His blinders are on, and Roishishi has blue armor and a pole sword ready to go against SS, who is going to go look for the loot. There's another ballista shot. You dodges it just barely. The king is eliminated, and as you can see, BBE are able to consolidate into one position towards the next against SSU, looking to regroup with his teammate, but no ballista position to be taken here, as he does not have any armor. He has nothing to sustain for his vitality, for health, and Roishishi knows that, but then decides to back off here for just a couple of seconds. Thinks we need to get the salvation podium and get this puzzle done immediately. And 521 find a Moonbane purchase off the rip. If I'm not mistaken, they just went for gold immediately and found that off, and you can see the kill feed is going into onslaught mode. Every single one of the other teams are finding 3 kill eliminations. GG found 3 kill eliminations. J team found 3 kill eliminations, and so did XCG within the span of a minute.
Here's the time attack serve. WBG, this is what they did on Biweekly. This is how they grouped OUG in that game number 7. They landed, and then they pushed into Salvation Podium after they'd been able to gear up and interrupt these players when they're trying to solve that box. There's the ballista shot directly onto Bin. Bygate sees the isolation, immediately all ins the 1v1 onto Snack. Trying to come on through with those dual halberds, loses a lot of his armor, but baits Snack into going into the ballista POV, and as a result, that fire tick is doing so much. Stoneform comes through, but BBE give WBG a taste of their own medicine. There are 2 ballistas on Salvation Podium, and WBG took the eye off of one of them. OUG now going for the run back, SS coming back on through. They've spotted that another team was contesting this space, and as a result, they're going to be able to push BBE off of the ballista and occupy it themselves. This is an absolute pass the parcel when it comes to positioning, and BBE know that they've given up that space. They have to back on off. OUG know that they don't have the loot to be able to chase on and commit to a team, especially since BBE might be running them directly into another who are better equipped and have the ultimates available. So it's much better to sit and loot and gear up so that you can still have ballista to stop these players from trying to push on top of you and pushing you out of the lobby early, considering some of them had to use their rebirths. There's Bowder and JJH now going head-to-head. Godly gets hit by the Tessa V1. Barrier V3 is going to get dropped just in case the Monk needs it. There's the transformation. Unfortunately, he is not able to iframe out of the stagger. He does take the enchantment, and as a result, he's not able to find any opportunity to look for these grabs. Gets hit by the Viper ultimate as well. Jing switches over to that fan to be able to throw it on repeat the charge, the RMB, and they're going to be able to connect onto him before he's able to get into the Farrier V3 as well. Bowder playing it perfectly and making it known why TN High struggles so much in current climate.
It's great rotation up for the skills there and making sure the Viper goes through. And as we can see, 521 gets eliminated off here by Pampy gets eliminated by BBE's Roishishi. But this Moonbane from 521, as I said, they didn't have any eliminations. They went straight for economy for the Moonbane, and they were able to accrue it, and this could work in their favor. However, cannon shots, bow shots, anything in the nature of range is what BBE is going to look for, and we can see the res coming off of Yin as that armor was made to go for a swap. Nicely done, as Pampy is the only remaining 521 member to get res. Nice F3 from Unique to deny those range shots. They got another 20 seconds for this Moonbane, but like a Moonbane is spawning on the ground, it's like a Forbidden Seal. Players will know where things are happening and they'll make the rotation, because in the meanwhile, over to the city of Tong, Wolves, BBE made the rotation towards the northern gate, but Wolves has still been here for the entirety of this region, and they have a Moonbane themselves. So once this Moonbane runs out, if it finds the advantage for EG to get themselves, we're going to see ZK be the game of chicken and be one of the first people to initiate the fights with Zem, and looking for BBE to commit towards it. That's the biggest point about Moonbanes. You can force this team to look forward, but the moment that BBE start thinking, where's their third, that's when they're going to think, let's spread out, because there it is. Moonbane drops down here. We're going to see as it comes down, Roishishi gets sent to the Shadow Realm here with those mid-air staggers into the bow shots, and of course ZK has ultimate now. He looks to try to initiate this off of Roishishi, and then the freeze is guaranteed, but the V2 proc coming out here denies it, and with ZK going down there, a Soblin for Roishishi to get back into the fray with a lot of heals and a lot of chances here to avoid this. Roishishi is still rocking into that Moonbane while Snack is getting dissipated from B3 slashes out of the hands of Zem, but Zem has Moonbane to his advantage here, and as you can see, I'm surprised that BBE did not get caught into any one of these Moonblade blasts. I'm gonna cast a curse it, because obviously right then and there, Roishishi gets caught to that Scare Rush, Soulbloom picks up, and then with everything, I'm a menace for doing that, guys. I'm sorry, BBE, for getting that one done, but Zem looks to
you owe them a personal apology letter. Oh, they were doing so well. Unfortunately, Wolves might not be doing so hot in a matter of minutes. They're able to get the revive, but there is immediately another team now drawn into trying to check out City of Tang. Just like no old zone, everyone gets to see when Bane's Breath is in play. Everyone knows the fight's going down, and it invites all of this challenge. As a result, OUG and Bowder, both of these teams now out of the woodwork, off of the sidelines, looking to see whether or not they can third party this. Fight's already ended though. Wolves very, very wisely making their exit very, very quietly. And as a result, OUG and Bowder, both knowing that there's multiple teams in the area, do not want to commit to this fight, because if they lose this next fight, even if they have gear, well, unfortunately, they won't be in a position to be able to put themselves into a realm of Yang, and for Sand Siphon, that simply will not do. They need to have the scaling, they need to have the realm of Yang wins, so they can get that Takeda ultimate up to yellow as quickly as possible. As we can see, Wolves have been able to find one of the players of BBE. Snack goes down to the fan, as Alliance have been able to find Lane the Viper purple armor. That is the way that we tend to see. Viper doesn't scale her ultimate health duration off of the armor. It's not like she's a transformer, but letting the Viper have the purple armor, because when you go for that ultimate, traditionally in both the V1 and the V2, not so much the V3, because you do get the 40% damage reduction. It is everyone turning and trying to kill that Viper on site. It's why when we had everyone running the V1 iteration of the Viper, which is where nothing happens on charge up, and then once the tether snaps, everyone gets stunned, Vipers would actually try and drop down from somewhere like a treetop so that they don't put themselves into a position where they can potentially be melted down before the ultimate is ready to rock.
Yeah, Vipers having this mitigation to be available for them, as well as just being able to have that extra armor, buys just a little bit more time, especially for their, if their position is not so hot where they have to use Force Ultimate. But even if they use Force Ultimate, right, having that extra 250 armor for themselves can really make the world of a difference. For instances, for V1 and V2, 50% mitigation pre-Season 12, that's where you're actually able to see how much damage can be coming out here for themselves to mitigate off for this end. And V3 has 40% mitigation, and that's great. It's for 5 seconds for them to go through and just go in ham. And even though it's 10% less than their counterparts between V1 and V2, where we're going to see Bowda, because they do have V2, this will be a good chance for them to see how well they can integrate that into this matchup. Now, onto the Rummy Yang spawns, we see a Vermilion's Morris Blessing. That right there is a golden, it's the golden Nox. Everyone wants to make, if they can make their way towards it and getting themselves a Morris Blessing with Vermilion Burst Might, heck, any Temi would want to use their ultimate to invest into it if they have enemy opponents come through. That's what we saw in round 1, where Alliance was not ready for that one, where it came down towards it. But we will have to see how this will end up for the Rummy Yang fights, as KLA are right next door towards J-Team, and each one of them are not going to enter it. A team has already entered through, but this is where that poke comes through. JJH, don't ask questions.
Where's the monk? Where's my Tian Hai? I mean, they did lose a fight pretty early on. Tian Hai struggles for a couple of reasons. I remember we saw them go down to the Tessa team. Tian Hai, even when you're able to get your ultimate online, because all of his health and damage scales off of equipment, when he actually activates the ultimate, he does struggle early on. Even when you get the ultimate, a lot of the time you just do not have the damage output or the health to be able to sustain in the fight long term. And it does unfortunately look like JJH are not going to be able to take a Realm of Yang. Instead, it's going to be KLA coming in with that Karumi version of Sand Siphon. There's the Karumi Tether, so we can get the damage reduction onto Takeda. Immediate interception with the dual halberds. Gorgeous connection onto J-Team's lead to make sure that Takeda is going to be kept safe. Unfortunately, however, the Justina freeze is absolutely massive. The conversion off of that into Dragon Slayers into Nezha's even bigger, as QG is going so incredibly low. The follow-up from Ice with the dual halberds, RMB catching this Takeda. He still has not gone down, however. That is testament to the healing coming out from Cuckoo at the moment. All of the shoves have been burned, but this Takeda is still standing. And unfortunately, that means for the Cannonball, or indeed the Snowball variation of it, all of that threat has now melted into a puddle because they did not manage to confirm the kill. And that is the benefit of the Karumi as opposed to the Zip. The Zip, once that Sedated Soul gets procced, the ultimate is done, everything becomes killable. The Kurumi has Sustain, so against things like the Justina, where the ultimate lasts far longer than one proc of Sedated Soul, the Kurumi Teva and the V2 is absolutely invaluable to make sure that your Takeda stays standing, and that is a legendary fan to be able to play off of those shelves with as well. That is absolutely terrifying.
You know, it's destruction versus preservation. You know, that's a reference. But if everything comes out here towards XCG into this spot, blue armor, 3 eliminations. Now that there's a team that has a gold fan that's a Takeda wield, it's just not going to be a fun time for anyone who decides to go up against Kayla at this point. But in the meantime, Alliance themselves are rocking through into the Snowy Forest. They themselves have gotten a good set of gear on hand, of course, while Lane is using the spear as a Viper. One thing I was noticing into last round, and this is kind of like a easy mind stomper, is that when the V3 Viper comes out for the offensive, catching that stagger coming off of the V3 pop gives a guaranteed RMB blue focus, a single hit blue focus, mind you, where the spear can have full value. In the one short moment, you now have someone that just takes a free blue focus off that end, and it's not multi-hit, right? Where you're not looking at where a person can use combo breaker within the span of it, because remember, V3 silences you, and the only time you can use your skills or / ultimate is once that silence ends. However, once they have a single hit weapon, there's nothing they can do to mitigate that standard procedure of just 1.0 to the face, and that would just be the case scenario for Alliance to utilize that weapon selection as for the Viper. Now, GG are playing sneaky here. Wolves, I think they have some sort of idea about something, because for some whatever apparent reasons, Zem has been searching for this all along. A Forbidden Seal here is actually massive here for GG to actually utilize this, and that's going to be it. Zem's going to be locked in here for the position, but EG actually looked to use ultimate way too preemptively. Didn't know that the Forbidden Seal was there, and he has no ultimate to save his team once they get out the zone. And as you can see, GG looks towards EG. As a result, since they know he has nothing to save his life for this, a Merciless Havoc keeps him propelled, and GG finds the elimination off of that Vermilions. But ZK looking to try to be aggressive on this end, catches RMBs back to back. Zem is the second one to go down. ZK finds a parry, looks for the shunt off of the Hong Sword parry, but of course GG found their best opportune moment here as one of the singled out characters came through and then pre-empted Temi ult into a Forbidden Seal. There was just nothing here that would have given Wolves any sort of benefit. But a third party, you'd love to see XCG making their rounds here. Now 3 eliminations total. They're looking to try to finish up this fight. Once that Forbidden Seal went active, they went towards the vicinity. And of course, LXM gets caught in here to that Dragon Slayer. But with Takaxi not having his chance here, gets caught to the Whisk Throw. That 40% mitigation really working through with the F3 from the Wu-Chins, keeping him into the fight. The V2 comes out from LXM, and he's going to have himself enough sustain. But with it, Xiaonan finds the V1 Wu-Chen teleport for a reset, hopefully, in order to get their teammate back up to the fight. But GG, which is losing track of where the targets are. And then another fight, KLA finds J-Team, and J-Team is actually at a low point here. Parry comes out, a gold fan picked up for Zui. Zui gonna come out here for those R&B spans, but the F1 tackle comes out to play as QGG having himself to catch ice off of that end. Gives QGG more opportunity here to hold blue focus. Cuckoo is down. CXZ is running for their lives. And of course, while the meter jump comes out to delay, QGG was being anticipated by Lee, as Lee gets the shunt, gets the LNB, and looks for his team to come through here for a parry and a kill confirmation, giving only one teammate left for KLA into this round.
Yeah, one teammate, but unfortunately that's going to be enough to make sure that J-Team is still down one Soul Bloom. They need to cleanse their Yodo, and they need to cleanse them quickly, otherwise that is going to be a Yodo knocked out to Yang Depletion. WBG in a exact similar position. Unfortunately, that problem is amplified ×3. All of their players are currently lacking one of those, so they're going to have to all in onto BPE. Small ultimate comes on through, making it harder for WBG to be able to collapse onto these players. It's a really tough location for them to be able to try and find a player to actually fully kill in one go. This is Celestra 2.0 when it comes to kite pathing, breaking ankles, and scale rushing. So things like the dagger and the fan are just so good to be able to make sure that we stay mobile. WBG, they're about to go down. Even if they get the kill onto Roy, maybe they can cleanse one of their players. Yes, we do. Even though we get third party, the test of V1 almost meant that Aja was not able to get the bloom. Unfortunately, the Teva gives away exactly where the Yoda runs away to, and we're still going to go down. We see him on the player cam just there accepting his fate as XGG comes in with with the third party 5-1 also now fighting it out. HQ having thrown out both variations of that Tesla V1, going to have to swap to the pulse or try and scale rush and keep himself as mobile as possible. As 5-1 now trying to deal with XCG. Pampy gets hit by that Viper ultimate, swaps over to the cannon to keep the pressure going. Falls incredibly low, but does have his team with him to be able to confirm the kill onto XCG's Kakaishi, and as a result, the Soul Bloom reset is going to be up and available for the Viper, lending us 70% and 80% now counting of our ultimate as they look to try and scout where exactly these rest of the players have run off to. Alliance now coming in for a fourth party, hit in with that Tessa V1, immediately catching on to one of these players of 5-1. Yin falls incredibly quickly, and Alliance go right back into trying to scout it out. Oh, that is a 1 versus 3. Okay, LA. CXE, he tried to chance it. He thought maybe they wouldn't go into the second realm of Yang. Maybe they would prioritize the Morris Blessings. Maybe he would walk away with a Rebuff Charm. Unfortunately for him, it is now a 1 versus 3. The Tumult F comes on. Now he doesn't even have his ultimate serve. Stop, stop. He's already dead. The Phoenix into Heptor into fan charged RMB. And there's nothing that Timmy could have done. He'd already burned the F. And unfortunately for him, he will lose the 1v3. Good news for him. Silver lining, if you may. It is a realm of Yang, so he now gets to choose a soul altar and come back and try and bring his team back. That approach. Bad news is that Bowder and Alliance, having won their realm of Yang, are now going to be getting incredibly aggressive. OUG as well with the Draco Storm, going to be trying to put all of the pressure onto these teams with the additional lightning damage and the fact that it now lasts just as long as all of the other buffs.
I was gonna say CXC take U energy, but the problem is that U was in the realm of Yang with him, so I couldn't really say that because of a 1-1-0. But OUGU outside of the realm of Yang is putting the pressure on us about it. As you can see, Draco Storm getting those procs and getting the heal back over time. SS is in the position of using ultimate here as it denies it. We're gonna see a V2 ping as it comes through, but a parry nicely done from Bauda. And it looks like OUG are feeling the full repercussions here and finds the extension for the staggers into that position where Wuchen has to port out. And Bauda looks to try to reset here. I'm not sure if OUG knows exactly where they're going, but this angle looks to be right because Yaron having half HP with peak. They have White Tiger's prowess. They'll take 25 heal every single tick for that buff being active, and as it comes out there, they can even just look to go, just go ahead and dip out to find a firefight cage if it comes to their benefit. But OUG having to invest all their ultimates that early on, it kind of comes into conclusion for that rage per second to work back in. And this aggressive ultimate of the Draco Storm having 3 minutes now compared to when it was 2 minutes before, it just gives the opportunity for teams to look for those early game outside roaming fights as fast as they can. The only problem is when you're going to get to Viper, Witch, and Tessa comp, and they out of nowhere to go somewhere else when you invested everything towards it, it really gives you that, dang, maybe if I got a Mystic Might moment. But besides the point, everything comes out towards Wolves here. They themselves have a pretty good selection of kills into the board with 8 eliminations. OUG has 11, but since they are tied in there with BBE, Wolves will try to look towards and try to go for those third parties, considering that Justina can kind of work against chasing out Wu Chens if they decide to go for it. In the meantime, though, OUG making their way towards the Moonfall Pass. They're going to be looking and finding Bauda's Jing and Bauda in general, and you can see there's no ultimates available for either one of them. It looks like Jing is at 40% or 35% for his rage, so it really just comes down to being able to land both shots if they want to go ahead and re-engage. But since a Draco Storm is coming
BBE,
they're gonna go for it. BBE has a gold pole sword, has ultimate ready. If they're gonna have to use their ultimate to deny the chase, it will come to that investment for themselves. But BBE has that pole sword, so he can just keep gliding with the grapple strikes. What's going on here?
KLA CXE is in this area too. If the stars align, BBE are down to 1 Temi. KLA is down to 1 Temi. Unfortunately, doesn't get a stars align. It's an eclipse moment as he runs directly into a full free stack, and now everyone is going to be on his tail. Bauda and OUG have spotted that there is a tumult that is not moving with a trios team, and Ivan immediately has to try and turn tail to make sure he does not get grapple locked into that pony roller. The F comes out, the Tessa V1, however, there's the third party coming on through. Who was able to claim the kill? Bauda. Fan. It's so fast when you have multiple people contesting the kill. Fan is one of the best at being able to get that last hit of confirmation. It doesn't matter how much damage you do, as long as you get that last tap on the health bar before it hits 0. then it is counted as your own. And unfortunately, that's going to make it even tougher for KLACXE to be able to find a solo player and pick up a Soul Bloom, because that was the only solo player that he could potentially have run into, and he came so close. He was at Salvation Podium only a little bit ago. Now, unfortunately, it looks like maybe he's accepted his fate. 20 seconds left. He's gone out into the forest. He's trying to just pop around. But wait!
What the? Whoa!
The Naraka God smile upon the tumult. She goes all the way out into the zone, finds a Soul Bloom that Ivakele had stashed all that time ago when they initially dropped, or he's able to just randomly chance upon one. I think it might have been the first. I think he was puffing there for a reason, but I mean, why would he not res into the area if he knew that a Soul Bloom was there? So maybe it was just one of those moments where everything aligns and you're absolutely bailed out from the brink of despair.
Just build different. You know what's crazy though? I looked at you, Soul Jades. Phoenix Blast had to detach on the Takeda. Who's gonna kill you at this point if he's got those two Jades? And I don't know if he has a longsword, but I'm hoping, you know, we're gonna see that. But CXZ back in the game. They got 3 eliminations. He's going Moonbane Serpent. You better get out of there, please. Don't let me see a Venn diagram coming out here, because
he saw the old zone. He knew that like all of the teams would gravitate towards that. He rings that bell. He makes sure that no one is running away from that no zone and towards him, and then he just books it. He's playing for full survival.
Got the moth to the flame here. GG actually find the gold Morris blessing too, so they got themselves to give LXM that purple, the gold armor. They opted to leave that melee resistance Jade, and I'll just double check and see about what that one is. But as you can see, they're going to range mode and making sure they can just try to get as much as they can off this end. I do see a head to detach for 3-3-0 as well, so for the Zipping to have that on hand is really crucial. CJS having to go ahead and just have his Jades be on plane side. The cannon with the Rupture Gale Orb, with the, you know, everything in Cannonball, the whole cannon build pretty much in CJ's pocket, so they can keep the rotation of repair chest towards him in case they get into a plateau region where there's rocks to be in nearby vicinity. Now, ZK is actually having himself with the Flamebringer and just trying to hit those bushes, because you never know if there's somebody who's hiding out there. They know there's a solo player, and they know they're going to keep their going through. But the crazy thing about ZK is they got Kabloom on standby, but the gold jade that they have on hand actually is martial artist will hook form. So whether or not they want to try to use that as a secondary option, that will be to the testament of time for what they have in here on hand. But we're going to go to a replay as we're going to look to the first from Yang. OUG had themselves into a check here, but just making sure they keep their momentum here. An easy preemptive ult here for you as he drops down straight towards WVG Sleepwalker into that Fairy Shenmech. Looks to try to regroup around where A Shao's ultimate is being casted into SS's ultimate as Temi, and where the teleports are very limited once that had been occurred. But you looks to scare rush around, look for the target prize selection of anyone on ground unit duty as he finds Sleepwalker here. He looks to try to use his second to last Fear and Blast. He's got one last one to come out here, and as you finds the lineup, gets Sleepwalker into a charge LMB and looks towards the F1 in midair for the extra propulsion and looks for the musket. I love how you gets away with this, because then all of a sudden he gets himself into Sleepwalker's position and close gaps onto the stone form and using it to throw in the opposite direction, hits Sleepwalker off that end. Baigay is getting caught into that wisp off of that end, and then the immediate kills confirmed for this team, and as an Aurora burst to finish off the job. OUGU, my king, just the way he uses the range weapon in a fight, just like that, like just in the nanosecond he finds that micro damage. But
you're in good company. Both Raven, myself, and you, I think, are probably Yu's biggest fans. I was so happy to see him get picked up by OUG. He is such a strong Takeda. But it does look like off of the back of having that Phoenix Interceptor, they're able to survive the contest that was coming through, as they did get hit when we hopped out of that replay by the Tesla V1. As everyone now tries to play around the fact that this Bane's Ref is interrupting a lot of these players' attempted rotations away from that corruption tick, and as a result, these Sand Siphon teams are getting pretty confident with that Takeda ultimate. So many of these players in the area not wanting to move forward because they go into Bane, not wanting to move back because they go into corruption tick. That is perfect timing for the Takeda to be able to come in with those shoves. So preemptive Tesla V1s coming out to make sure that that does not occur and happen to your team, where everyone gets all in and every team on the surrounding sidelines decides to join the fray. OUG trying to pick themselves up a little bit of a safe spot. so they can try and hide out from all of the pressure coming on through as J-Team are getting absolutely cooked by all of these cannon shots coming through. Tessa V1 is going to make it even harder. Poor J-Team's Ice is just forced into committing that Justina V1 and trying to dash straight out, but JJH's Godly is able to scope the dash out, comes in with the cannon shot on the Farrier mech. Will be able to confirm that kill. I don't know if his teammates are going to be alongside him. No, it does look like they were able to survive the after effects of the Tessa V1 hitting on through. Yodo not... Yes, they are able to pick up that Justina. Good use of both the Yushin ultimate and the Yoto F to be able to cover the body and make sure you do not get interrupted. This Tumultuous ultimate now gets invested. JJH seeing that all of those have been invested, thinking that they can either sit around the space and get an easy kill, or wanting to claim the high ground to make sure that they're out of line of sight of all of these players when they start to go to the low ground, which is where all of the cannon fire is going to be focused into places like poor Bowder is unfortunately finding themselves under the contest of Wuchen Fs coming on through, just trying to block as much range projectile as possible. Really good high focus spaces for the Vipers to be able to play off of the back of, as well as the Tessas. Lots of scenery, lots of buildings to be able to cut line of sight on the Tessa V1, so you don't know when you need to be able to react, dodge that ultimate. As OUG's there's you with that longsword coming on in, using the Phoenix, using the Hepta to lock down the building and make sure that they do not get pushed on by the teams on the outsides, even sitting in the middle of the Aurora Burst, as well as GG at the very, very top, trying to make sure that they are not the ones that get focused onto. JDH's Godly with no choice, unfortunately, having to go for that transformation. Make sure that he's not that much of a target, though, by putting himself onto a low ground position when he ults. No one's really looking at the Tien high in the transformation. No one's realized that there's a monk still in play. And as a result, his health bar is absolutely untouched, despite not having a Tumultuous ultimate to be able to keep himself standing. As he's looking for these grabs, he's not able to find any, however. Drops out of the ultimate. OUG are able to find a kill into 5-2-1. Still sitting on the middle of this building, sitting in the middle of that Aurora Burst as Bowder get hit by the Tessa V1 into follow-up. Rather, he used the Tessa V1 to follow up onto 5-2-1. Jing charging up that pulse, it will be able to get the Soul Boom reset as well to get that ultimate back online as quickly as possible. They've also got an Aurora Burst. GG off of the high ground, CG as taking a lot of focus fire, having to use that Tumultuous ultimate to heal right back on up. Ferrimac drop knife from JJH's Godly going to start to get challenged out by GG, who also have a Hepta of their own. CJS following up with the fan charged RMB as the Merciless Havoc now starts to come on out. GG off of that high ground, having to invest their ultimates and relying on the Soul Jades to buy themselves the pocket of space. As can we just take a moment to appreciate as all of these teams scrap it out. KLACXE is sitting inside a bush and no one has seen this tumult.
The fact of the matter, that's textbook play right there, of course. And you're going to see into these fights, this is not going to stop, guys. Another 2 minutes until the zone collapses into its final contention zone. Of course, CXE not finding anyone to fight here. It's a perfect opportunity here to get placement. OUGU finds a kill off of J-Team Ice, and as J-Team finds the loss of their Justina here, of course, a lot of pushes coming through for those cannons interference. And we're going to see Heartstopper coming out from the bottom line, but ZK finds a kill off of LXM with the Dreadful Whale being revealed here from ZK. Looks for horizontals to try to connect it, finds a Soul Bloom pickup, and looks for another dash here, but it does not happen in time. He gets raged for a second with the cancellation of the ultimate, but ZK just using Dreadful Whale for one purpose and one purpose only. For anyone who's coming in here, once a gold focus hits, they're going to get locked down, and if any range shots come to the direction, they're going to push it away. Now, Moran finds a cannon kill off of J-Team's Lee, and as JJH is racking up kills, Zui off of J-Team finds their little, shop to, set up, but eviction notice. They're gonna have to push him out there. ZK gets himself into another position, finding another Soul Bloom, and has his ultimate ready to go again once more into the fray. And while we see so many Aurora Bursts of giving protection for OUG, ZK gets himself an ultimate to use against JJH's Flames' Furious Shen. Flames can be easy prey for anyone with the cannon with a range shot. And you can see him go straight to the sky as he's trying to avoid it. Zui from J-Team has the Yodo Kime ult, but the focus here could be immense once the ultimate ends. You can see ZK getting really close towards her, and there's going to be the burn kill as Zem is able to confirm it, and the Soul Bloom gives another dash for it, and CGS gets eliminated from the horizontal, and another freeze off of 3-3-0 into a dreadful whale. Another kill for Wolves. They're going ham into this final zone. We still have 8 other players for them to look towards, and then all the fights are happening off of this Raptor. A V3 coming out from A Alliance's lane as Zem is going to be not being able to teleport off. He's looking for those straight shot slashes off as Yodohime, and then finally OUG dropped down, and Lane is getting eliminations by the bar with the cannon, and off this end we're going to see back-to-back cannon kills from Lane against SS. Yu goes ahead and gets a kill off of EG. Zem is on Flamebringer duty. He's getting the last hit kills. He's getting the last tick damages, and that's a 20 bomb for Wolves into round 3. Celebration Flamebringer dance. Let's get it.